सूर्ये यभिर्गसूर्यः सः अमूय उपसूर्ये यभिर्गसूर्यः सः तनो हिन्वन्त्वधवरम्.
Water. Our ancient quests unraveled its mysteries and its relation to the sun. Varamihira worked on Vedic principles and gave us the wisdom of water thousands of years back, and gave us the foundational knowledge of its effect on the soil and hence agriculture. Thousands of years back, we evolved the understanding of agriculture that is still relevant. Its simplicity and sustainability is based on rigorous observations. And we need to dig deeper to unearth the science that misses our eyes. Because we have considered these technologies to be archaic. We have seen these practices even in our lifetime. But under the pressure of commercial farming, many of these practices have been lessening. These practices started with our understanding of water. Ancient texts documented the wisdom of water. They realized that water flows underground. They documented the way to find out the underground sources of water.
How we can identify that here how much is the water table? That is called Dakargalam. There is a chapter known as Dakargalam. So through that we can know where is the water inside the soil, how deep we need to go. Similarly, there are models through which we can predict the rainfall. The Rishi Parashar in 400 BC, he described the rainfall prediction models, when the rain will occur. He developed the panchang and all, and today also that panchangs, validity of that panchangs are accurate.
There are indirect methods to detect the presence of groundwater, and this was one technique which was developed or focused by Varamihir. So he made use of what is called biological indicators of presence of water. You know, we have this term हरियाली है किसी जगह पे बहुत. Haryali means there are lots of trees, lots of vegetation, crops, etc. So in addition to vegetation, there was one more component, and that is water used by living beings or animals, etc. One thing he focused was presence of termites. So if there are some termite mounds at some location, that is an indicator of water.
Well construction methods in Indian villages are ancient. Like this one in a tribal village in Panna forest of Madhya Pradesh. But where groundwater is rare, depleted or overexploited, sourcing water needs different techniques. Somewhat like these johars. Johars are some of the oldest forms of reservoirs carrying forward the traditions of the Gupta period. They conserve water and recharge underground aquifers. In parts of Rajasthan, they have been the most important tool to revive aquifers. The vegetation now hides the dry story of the past. Rajasthan now has about 5,000 johars, making agriculture possible. Because now soil has life. Soil health and biodiversity through localization are the key principles of traditional farming. In many parts of India, organic manure is produced and used to keep the soil healthy. Compostable wastes are put in one pit and are allowed to decompose. This pit is often called gur. Often, we find the use of neem in organic manure. it gets decomposed with the help of worms and microbes and changes into simple organic mineral forms, which is taken up by plants as a nutrient. Livestock manure, crop manure and domestic sludge are some of the cost-effective sources of organic compost used in cultivation. They also reduce the production of nitrogenous greenhouse gas. As nitrogenous fertilizers are not used in the fields, microbial diversity increases. Now, organic manure is used in modern farming regularly. Farmers create cement pits for the purpose. Sometime between the 4th century before Common Era and 6th century Common Era, Parashara detailed the process of organic manuring. His treatise, Kṛṣiśāstra, was the most relevant treatise on agriculture in the ancient times. He prescribed the use of cow dung to produce manure. The time duration for composting was regarded as 2 weeks. Vrikshayurved was an authoritative treatise on plant health. India was the first to invent liquid fertilizer based on cow dung, Kunapa Jal. It used the microbes of the dung of the local cattle breed. As cattle grazes on Gochara Bhumi, they choose their own feed. That feed helps increase microbes in their dung.
We also trying to validate it, and we have developed herbal Kunap gel in present context, and we are doing research. We are getting very good result out of herbal Kunapa gel.
Soil organic matter or SOM, that is, plant residues and microbes, preserves important plant nutrients. But they need composting for the nutrients to be available to plants. Organisms such as earthworms, fungi, bacteria and arthropods break down or decompose the residues. A stable layer of humus is formed. The humus is further decomposed to release nutrients like nitrogen, manganese, phosphorus, iron and potassium. SOM maintains the cation exchange capacity, increasing nutrients, water holding capacity and soil aggregation.
फसल में जो इनपुट है वो एनिमल से गया, तो इससे एक तो सॉइल वो एनरिच हुई. सॉइल में आजकल केमिकल पड़ने से जो माइक्रोब्स नष्ट हो गए हैं, तो एक तो वो पनपेंगे. सॉइल की जो क्वालिटी है, जो ह्यूमस है, जो माइक्रोब्स हैं, वो एनरिच होंगे. सॉइल में वाटर रिटेंशन की कैपेसिटी अच्छी होगी.
Mulch prepared from weeds increases crop production and effectively helps in lessening soil erosion. Animal waste is an important tool in keeping the soil healthy. Traditional subsistence farmers use penning of cow, sheep, goat and fallowing the field at the end of winter to improve fertility of the field for the next crop. And this is very common in agroforestry-based practices. Integration of crops and animal husbandry in agroforestry reduces soil erosion and improves the soil moisture with water holding capacity. This very likely enhances carbon sequestration and microbial diversity. The tree species of the agroforestry system support the societal, economic and environmental requirements of the local people by supplying food, fuel and fodder. And the fodder often is just straws, the leftover from farming. Domestication of animals started a few thousand years before actual agriculture. In Bhagor, Rajasthan, evidence of domestication in Mesolithic era is found, that is between 11 and 12,000 years ago. The inhabitants not only domesticated sheep, goats, buffaloes, cattle and pigs, but also foxes and cheetal deer. These were pastoral times that later led to agroforestry.
खेती और पशु दोनों एक ही सिक्के के दो पहलू हैं. अब उसमें होता क्या है कि जैसे देसी गोवंश है, इसके गोबर गोमूत्र से डिफरेंट कॉम्बिनेशन से बायोडायनेमिक फर्टिलाइजर्स बनते हैं. जीवामृत जैसे हम लोग कई कहते हैं, कई लोग दूसरे प्रकार से करते हैं. उसको एक प्रोसेसिंग है, उस प्रोसेसिंग के थ्रू जो वो खाद बनती है वो एक गाय से 1 एकड़ की खेती के लिए पर्याप्त खाद बन जाती है.
At that time we were having a large bovine population, and today also we are having the largest bovine population globally. At the same time, bull, you know that they don't need a fuel, they need only feed, fodder. and because that they also provide urine, dung that can be enriched to the soil. So they are preferred, and moreover it is not ploughing of the land by the bullocks, but at the same time they were also used for running rahat, that means lifting of water, and also crushing of sugarcane.
In Sambhar, Didwana and Lun Karnsar, the first slashing of forest and planting of seeds happened in the year 7000 before Common Era, or about 11,000 years ago. That was the time of full-fledged domestication of plants and animals, a practice that later gave birth to seed drills. The practice of integrating livestock and farming is common in rural areas of India. But here in Nagaland, farming is more integrated, based on the management of water and lessening the erosion of soil. It's called Zabo in the local dialect, meaning impounding of water. The step or terrace farming manages the water. The Chakesang community is the principal innovator of the practice. The water catchment in the lower strata is used for runoff rainwater storage for paddy crop irrigation during the dry season. This integrated system includes livestock, horticultural crops, fruit trees and paddy-cum-fish culture at its base. The community works together.
This system actually it consists of different components like water harvesting pond, then forestry on the top of the hill, then agriculture practice, animal sector like we can say animal husbandry also, then we call it this fishery also. This system are combined together in one of the field and they call it as a one system called Zabo. Zabo is what is popularly known, this system. Everyone knows by Zabo. But when we go down to village, they say like Zabo mean for smaller pond, which is impounding of water, and Ruza they used to refer more popularly in their village that Ruza means for bigger size of the pond. They make this pond in such a way that they just make I can explain in such a way that the forests usually are made in the top of the hills. Below the forest they make this pond, and these ponds are fed with water by channelizing from different part of the section of the top part of the hill and from different parts. They make it small channels like rail channel type. They pass it from through different angles of the hill slope. They conserve the water and they use it for different purposes.
The level of Zabo integration is less practiced in other areas, but intercropping is common. In this field inside the Panna forest in Madhya Pradesh, we can see that onion, cauliflower, tomato and wheat have been intercropped. It is still a common practice among subsistence farmers to grow multiple crops in one farmland.
So there is diversity of microbes just because of the diversity above the ground of different crops. So our sages and saints, they were very intelligent, very visionary. They kept the this provision of intercropping and mixed cropping in their documents.
Intercropping may also help in pest controlling. One crop that is pest repellent may protect another crop. Marigold, pepper, garlic, tomato and basil repel different kinds of pests.
When we do the plant protection, we use onion, we use garlic, we use many kinds of other weeds. Why? The reason is all these crops, they have pretty good quantity of secondary metabolites. They may be alkaloids, they may be flavonoids and various kinds of secondary metabolites which are very good for plant protection. So it is always good to have botanicals, and in Vraksha Ayurveda there is huge list of plants through which we can do the plant protection. There are number of types of insects in one crop or in other crops. They are managed, and the extraction of nutrients also managed, because some are shallow rooted, some are deep rooted, some are somewhere middle rooted crop.
Innovation was key. Simple, subtle, and as we have known later, scientific. Tools like this plough were key to farming. They tilled and helped in seeding. The technology traveled through ancient, medieval, and modern times. They continue to do so till date for subsistence farmers. The plows were designed to allow for ease of work to both animals and humans. That enabled less musculoskeletal drudgery than is reported in modern machine-based farming technologies. However, according to traditional knowledge, salt is perhaps the easiest available pesticide. It repels pests and supplies nutrients to plants. Herbal sprays like the oils of neem and eucalyptus could be applied in the form of foliar sprays to keep away insects from crop plants. However, the earliest traces of structured farming or agriculture are found in Mehrgarh in Balochistan. That was the early stage of the Indus Valley civilization. The intelligent selection of crops becomes evident as the Indus Valley civilization progresses from its early stage to its later stage. They started with wheat, barley and millets. Later they grew lentils and grams, the traces of which were found in Sanghol in Punjab. Agriculture soon became the main economic activity in the Indus Valley civilization. And as is evident from the archaeological sites, it was an advanced culture. It all evolved around the management of water. The Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro was the first public water tank of the ancient world. Urayur in Tiruchirappalli was the early capital city of the great Cholas. Karikal Chola ruled from here, but his legend goes beyond his conquests and lives till today. He built the Kallanai Dam on the Kaveri River in 150 Common Era or about 1900 years ago. The dam is still in use. This is the oldest water diversion system for irrigation in use in India and the fourth oldest in the world.
It is towards the tail end of the river. So in that part near this Thanjavur district, there is a very large and fertile area. This regulator traps the river water and diverts it to the Thanjavur delta through a canal. And that is an indicator of the kind of knowledge people at that time had gathered. Similar structures were constructed later. For example, Upper Ganga Canal was constructed in 1850s by Britishers. So that canal also diverts Ganga water to the fertile plains of western UP, but that's a recent phenomenon.
Prosperity in agriculture led to prosperity in trade. Trade in ancient India flourished as food was abundant. Indian trade went much beyond its boundaries. The technique of preserving water became a part of Indian traditions. This gave us architecturally beautiful stepwells. The tradition carried on till the Mughal times. These were called Vao, Bauli or Khas.
So stepwells are basically wells where provision was made for people to go at greater depth as the water level goes down in the dry season and extract waters. In some cases, for example, there is a very famous step well called Chand Baudi in Rajasthan. So that place was used for community gathering, for cultural events, because water was present, and presence of water means temperatures were low. So in the evening people would gather there and have nice time and networking as we know today.
Most traditional farmers are subsistence farmers. They hardly have separate storage systems. Hence, they follow the traditional methods. After drying, grains are kept in airtight containers. This restricts the carbon dioxide level and mycotoxins. In many parts of the country, grains are mixed with ash to reduce the relative humidity of the seed surface. Silica stops the fungal pathogens from growing. Often they use straw or husk to reduce the moisture content. Neem and cow dung are used as insecticides. The sustainability potential of traditional agriculture includes social equality, economic profitability, and environmental health. It adds to the circularity of the economy by reducing waste, protecting the environment, and repurposing materials. Now, organic farming is fast catching up. However, it still lacks the holistic nature of traditional farming.
In case of organic farming, we use number of industrial based product. Okay. In case of Vriksha Ayurveda, we use either plant based product or animal based product, which are available in the reach of farmer. So our basic national agenda right now is to reduce the cost of cultivation for increasing the net profit of the farmer. Recipes which have been described in Vriksha Ayurveda, they are very simple in the access of the farmer, and the methodology to develop those recipes is very easy. So, however, in case of organic farming, he used to purchase.
One of the unique aspects of this traditional agriculture of India is that it talks about a systems approach and talks about not just about plants, it talks about microbes underneath, it talks about animals and human beings overall. And this kind of a overall holistic approach to agriculture is something that will be very relevant as we go forward into this world where we will be having a population of 10 billion people and then shrinking resources and variabilities because of climate change, weather variations. All of these uncertainties we can basically address through the accumulated wisdom from the Bharatiya Jnana Parampara.
A consciousness that we unconsciously carry forward from the ancient times. A consciousness that our ancestors gave us about earth, water, sun, air and fire. The balance of nature. And like the traditional Bharatiya people protect their produce, we ought to protect and practice this knowledge.
Amurya upasurye Kṛṣiśāstra Saha Amurya upasurye Kṛṣiśāstra Saha Tano hinbantva dhavaram Tano hinbantva dhavaram